Hello! Yes, we did it. We got to the 10-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel on which you're watching this live stream is officially 10 years old, and I can prove that if I go to the screen capture. Is my channel here. Go to stats. Joined November 2nd, 2008. So here we are, 10 years later. And look at how many views I got. It's probably more than I deserve anyway. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I've got some cake. Look at that. It's a beluga birthday cake. So for this stream, I am going to be going through a lot of the stuff that I've been doing over the years, because Belugatoons started out as a YouTube channel, and obviously it still is. But since then it became a website, and I did lots of other things that don't specifically involve the YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is where it started. So yeah, if I go back I don't actually need that one. Things are already going really well. Oh, by the way, can you see the I've got the Belugatoons shirt. I haven't worn this for a long time. I wasn't sure if it was still going to fit. Yeah, here's the website, and this was the first thing I posted. Welcome to the Beluga blog. Yes, today is the day we launched the official Belugatoons blog. Here you can get all the hot slices of Belugatoons news and latest cartoons. Enjoy. And this was the first video that I put up on this. This was the first one to go up on the channel, and I'm about to play that for you. Beluga dates Stan. This was the introduction to Stan, the this rat character, lab rat. So yeah, I'm going to play that for you now. I think the video's all loaded up, so I can just go.
My name is Stan. Hello. If you want to hook up with me, here's a few things you need to know.
Yeah, that is it. That's how long that one lasts. The others are a bit longer. Yeah, I think I did 5 for the channel, and yeah, that was, as you can tell, not the most professionally animated thing. I basically this was before I even had a tablet. I think I would just use Photoshop. Even then, I think I was using Photoshop Elements at that point. So just like the free version, and just getting the mouse and drawing those shapes on the screen on each canvas, and dropping them into iMovie one at a time. It was quite painstaking, but you know, I felt like I was onto something. It was around that same time. Like, here's the old Belugatoons logo, the one that I used for the thumbnail on this video, because I made that. Again, no tablet. You can tell the line. See how bumpy the lines are, and yeah, I just thought I'm going to draw a beluga whale with just these letters in front of it, spelling out Belugatoons, because yeah, I figured that was going to be like the style, because I sort of liked having the blackness. I don't know why. It blends together nicely. You sort of don't get the outline. It's kind of where the idea for the t-shirt came from. So yeah, that's really all I had for the channel. I decided I was going to put this up at the start of every video, and while I'm on the subject, I'm going to have to load up the next video, because I wanted Stan. I think at this point, I created Stan and Beryl, and you will see her debut on this channel in a moment. But also because I was watching a lot of Family Guy at the time, and I had this idea to do like an ident with Stan introducing Family Guy So that's what this is.
Hello everyone, Stan here, and you're about to watch Family Guy. You may have already seen this 2 days ago, but who cares? It's next on BBC Three. Right, I said it, where's my cheese?
And yeah, that's it. Another very short one, because that was meant to be short because that was actually shown on BBC Three, because they used to do that. A lot of students mostly would send them videos. You could just go online, send a link to this video you made, and they decide whether or not to use it. And I remember I got an email saying, we will use it, but we need you to cut out the line where he says, you may have already seen this one 2 days ago, but who cares. And the thing is, I thought that was pretty spot on, because for some reason BBC Three would show an episode of Family Guy and then about 2 days later they would repeat it. And it seemed a bit weird because it was like within the same week, like Monday to Friday. So yeah, I quite like that line, but they said that it won't make a lot of sense if the episode hasn't been on. So yeah, I edited it out and it ended up on the TV. So technically my animation has been on television. Albeit very briefly. But yeah, because that was a fun thing to do. I'm going to put the next video in again. I think I'll just go through all 5 of them in a row, because they're not incredibly long. I'll show you the third one I made, and at this point I was thinking, clearly I'm going to have to do all the voices. So I had to come up with a new voice for this one. This is the Greenwood Bats. I'll explain more about the bats. Here it is. It's also, the title of this one is The Greenwood Bats Happy. Greenwood Bats Happy. Yeah, okay, here it is.
You're looking a bit smug today, aren't you? What are you so happy about?
Yeah, so it sort of had 2 titles. The word happy is in there because I thought I was hoping to do like a series for each character, so each one that they were in would have its own separate title, but that was the only one that I made. So I didn't make that many videos, but yeah, I think what is there to say about that? They're called the Greenwood Bats because I'm a Radiohead fan. The names are Tommy, Colin and Johnny, after Colin and Johnny Greenwood. Yeah, it's hard to remember these things. I'm sort of wondering now what to do next, because as I said, I could just go through these videos. Yeah, I think I'll put the next one in, because like I said before, this was when I thought, okay, I'll do one with both Beryl and Stan, and that was sort of the beginning of them becoming almost like a double act. So yeah, this one is Beryl and Stan in The Donkey.
Dear Diary, I have just moved in with my new boyfriend. This place could really do with a clean, and I think there's something wrong with the heater.
Hey there, gorgeous.
Hey, Stan, is the heater supposed to be making that noise?
What heater?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, this is so great. This means we can spend loads more time with each other.
Yeah.
So, what do you fancy for dinner?
Coronation chicken would be very nice.
Can you make that?
Okay, and I'll let you help if you really want to.
Nah, I'm good, thanks. So, that's dinner sorted. What do you want to do for the rest of the evening?
Well...
Hey, I know. We could stay in and watch RoboCop. I've got it on Blu-ray, don't you know?
Really?
And after that, we could go on YouTube and leave comments for those guys who make animations.
You know something? I have needs too. I mean, can't I at least make a few requests?
Okay, babe, I'm listening.
Right. Now I'm happy to cook tonight if you cook tomorrow.
Fine.
Also, I want to see you tackle the laundry at least once this month, okay?
That depends on what you mean by at least once.
Thirdly, nobody cares about your appearance on BBC Three, so stop going on about it.
Ouch.
And finally, would you be so kind as to tell me why there is a donkey in here?
That's my mate, Terry.
Terry.
Yeah. Alright, Terry. What's up, dude? Hey, Stan. Just hoofing around as usual. Good one, mate.
I want him out of here.
What? Don't be like that. He's a good laugh.
Be that as it may, I don't want to have to listen to him braying all evening.
I assure you, he won't make a sound. Oops. Sorry about that. Don't worry, mate. Beryl will tidy that up.
Stan!
I meant after dinner.
Listen, Stan, can't we just go out to dinner somewhere? That way we can check out the city and get to know each other some more.
That's a good plan. I'll tell Terry.
He's not invited.
Oh.
Just ask him to leave. Please? For me.
Well, alright.
Well, diary, I suppose things could be worse.
Sorry. That's okay. It's Beryl's.
I should really talk about Esme, because that was the first time I did a video with more than one person doing those voices. So because I'd done the voices of those other characters, and Esme really wanted to be a part of this, and I always thought that was really cool, because at this point, people have been very polite about my cartoons, but none of them have been like, can I get involved? So when Esme said, are there any characters that I could voice? I was like, well, I'm sort of thinking about this new one with Stan living with his girlfriend, and we recorded that one in this. It was like a small studio, not a sound studio or a recording studio, but because we were studying TV production. So it was like a room where we would learn how to use cameras and things like that, and do these sort of we'd learn about working in studios. And so it just meant that we could we worked out when we could have it to ourselves and record it. I just recorded it onto my laptop and got to work on it, and I'm still quite pleased with that one, because like the animation is very bumpy, obviously, but out of all the ones I've done, it seems the most expressive. Like the characters, they talk with their hands as well as their faces. That's something that I don't know if I've been able to achieve that since then, because that sort of thing does take a lot of work. But I think because I didn't get too ambitious, it is just a simple setup, two characters sitting down having a chat, and I feel like I should have done more of that, because it was manageable, not too hard, but you could make it work. You can make it kind of fun. Anyway, are we on to the last one now? Because that's 4. So the 5th one was with a completely new set of characters. 'Cause I think at this point I might have got onto working with working on my webcomic, and that had already I was introducing a lot of new characters and trying to have like characters that I felt could be both animated and in this comic series. So this one is 10-pin bullying.
Well, that was a waste of a good bowling ball. Yeah, I know you're only trying to make it easy for us, Jeffro, but don't overdo it.
Here, let me show you how it's done.
No, thank you, sir. Just let me teach myself.
I'm gonna strike all evening, but I have a good feeling about my next turn.
Wow, we really want to get him on our team.
Am I in heaven?
What happened to you?
Just helped a nice gentleman get a strike.
You mean you've been through the gutter?
In a word, yes.
What was it like?
It was kind of dark and painful.
Someone is going to pay for this. Well, I spoke to the proprietor, but he just gave us a free season pass. Hey, do you want me to go and have a quiet chat with this Mr. Wolf?
Okay, he's over there playing pool. Be careful though, he's a threat.
Bud, that guy's only a threat to himself. Besides, I used to be a social worker. Excuse me, but a friend of mine tells me you've been bullying him.
Yeah? What of it?
I'll have you know that this is exactly the type of behaviour that can land a boy like you in a whole heap of trouble.
Huh? What can you do to me? I suggest you run along, little pipsqueak.
This is for your own good, Sonny Jim. Jethro, Waldorf has something he'd like to say to you.
Is that your name? Waldorf?
Yeah.
We're waiting.
I don't want to.
Come on now.
Okay, listen, I'm sorry I used you.
Speak up.
I'm sorry I used your ball.
There's a good boy. Now you two run along and play.
Actually, I think I'll make myself scarce. Don't want any more trouble, you know.
Apology accepted. Warlock. I don't know how you did it, Chelsea, but you certainly improved the security around here.
Well, my work is done. Now it's time for play.
Count me in. Oh, wait a minute. I'm already playing with those two over there.
Yeah, come on, Jeffro. We won't bite.
Tell you what, I'll join you guys. It'll be fun. Lead the way, my friend. He did it. He had it coming.
That one was hard to watch because the sound was absolutely terrible, and I really didn't have, because I didn't realise until I was actually working on that you know, I'm really not that great at walk cycles. Like that's why it works so well when my characters were just sort of sitting side by side and just talking to each other. That was a lot easier to handle. And yeah, I think the mistake I made with this one is I didn't leave it until I'd actually learnt how to do these kinds of cartoons. But yeah, I mean, I don't regret making it because first of all, it was great working with Esme again. This time around, we found like a soundproof studio in that same university, and I think it was at a time when most people had gone home, so we had most of those places to ourselves, and it was fun to record it. It took me forever to actually do all the visual stuff, and putting the sound effects in was a pain because it was meant to be in I suddenly realised this is meant to be a bowling alley. There's got to be some kind of background noise, but I couldn't put too much noise in there because you have to be able to, it did sort of drown out what the characters were saying. Anyway, I can sit here and criticise it as but it's interesting. Possibly my least favourite, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm glad that I made the effort to do those videos, because it just helped me to just carry on experimenting. And what I'm about to show you next, I thought I'd go through a few of my I've got a little gallery here of drawings. So I've already shown you the logo. I took that down. This image was one that I remember putting this up on the website when I first created the website, when it was just a blog. It wasn't it was like I didn't have the domain the Belugatoons.com. I came up with this, and I decided I could use it for this podcast that I'd set up. The podcast at the time was really just because back then, I don't know if you can still do this, but you could include PDF files. So for a long time, instead of putting any audio on there, I would put I put the video clips, because you can put video, and also PDF files of my webcomic. That's what it looked like. And then this one, that was the first image that I used when I was actually doing a recorded podcast, and I actually plucked up the courage. You're going to hear it in a minute. This would have been after I did that. So this would have been around 2012, 2013, I think. And I mean, I don't know what, because I can't remember if I drew that picture of Eugene specifically for this. I think I decided it would make more sense to have him be on most of these things, because nobody's going to recognise any of my characters anyway. But the thing about Eugene is he is the mascot. He is the beluga whale. That is what the beluga in Belugatoons refers to. This one I did for the 2015 episodes, and because it would have been a few years since it's the previous design, so it felt quite good to come up with a new one. And I think also this was the first time, because I think this is when iTunes were like, we need kind of a specific, I think like a minimum image size, because I think the minimum is 1400 pixels either way. So I had to start using that template, and yeah, I mean, as I say, it felt good because I was making a nice, new, fresh design. One that could be. I thought I'd keep hold of the Photoshop file, so I could use the assets for other things. Because I kind of wanted to start putting episodes on YouTube as well. So I thought I could include this image of Eugene in like the YouTube placeholder image and have a separate design that sort of uses the same assets but in the context of like a video. So this one would have been 2016, and the green colour, that's there because that year I was doing I turned Beluga Weekly, the webcomic, into like this ongoing thing, and I kind of made green the colour of that particular year. It was like the theme of that year. And I like the idea of including a little graphic that is in some way associated with podcasting, and so that's like the play button that you see in a lot of podcast apps, like the Apple one kind of looks like that, and it shows you the progress as well. So yeah, and I just thought you would have Eugene pressing it. I couldn't really think of an awful lot. I was sort of short on ideas that time. But yeah, I quite like that one almost as much as I like this one. This is the following year, 2017. That was a blue year, as you can see, and I thought, yeah, again, I thought I wanted to make it so that you could associate it with podcasts of that particular era, because at this point most people were listening to podcasts on their phones, so I thought I should have like a picture of a phone, and then I had the idea of making it so Eugene is like trapped inside it. As you can see there, he's sort of trying to get out, and I've done like the standard controls and playback progress thing. I don't know. This is last year. This is the most recent one. Is everything alright? I think I'm lagging a bit. You will let me know, won't you? I'm slowing down. Right. I don't know what to do. Hang on. Test card. I think it's all right now. It seems like how's the gallery. So anyway, okay. Yeah, the thing about the gallery is it's sort of overloaded with lots of stuff. So I might have to start thinking about dropping some of those. Hang on. Right. I'm going to play you the first episode of the Belugatoons podcast now. And hopefully while it's playing, I might be able to resolve that issue, whatever it was. The thing is, I don't want to... Okay, I'll just go ahead and play it. So this was the first episode I recorded, I think, in 2012. Right, I'll just play it right now.
Hello and good evening to all loyal fans of
Belugatoons or Belugatoons or however you're supposed to say it. I honestly, I actually came up with that word, and not even I know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but a lot of people say Belugatoons, so what do I know? Hi, this is Andrew Mortimer, and I'm doing a podcast. This is weird because so far I've been using my podcast feed just to send out copies of my comic strip, Beluga Weekly, and this is the first audio recording because apparently most people who have podcasts include some kind of audio content, sometimes video, but not very often. And this is up on iTunes. You can search for it on the iTunes store. So if you're listening to this through the website, you might like to know it's on iTunes. Pretty cool. Well, I thought I'd start one of these because, well, I've been doing a lot of this kind of indie artwork and animation for a while now. And most recently, I managed to get a commission for a CD cover that Peter Dixon wanted me to design. Now, if you don't know who Peter Dixon is, you might just want to Google him. I'm a big fan of his work, and basically he decided to record a single to coincide with the 2012 Olympics, and this is a bit of a big deal, I suppose. So, I've found this. He mentioned it on Twitter, and he provided a link, an email address to the producer of this single, and I followed it and just sent a message saying, I'd be more than happy to work on this, and I sent a link to some examples, this online gallery that I tend to use. It's like my go-to place to give people an idea of what sort of cartoon stuff I can do. And then the producer very kindly replied and sent me an entire brief about what this project was going to involve, and that was when I kind of felt, okay, cool, I've got something here that I can work on, and I made some initial sketches. I wasn't really sure if I'd got the job, because there were still these people who are working on this project are still looking for, searching around, asking different cartoonists, and in a matter of hours, I was contacted saying, can you quote us, the fee that you're expecting from this, and all of that stuff. It really didn't take long to kind of settle things, and I think it was about a day after that, I think, just trying to replay it all in my head, I was then contacted, and apparently they like my work. Peter thought my designs were good, and they said they wanted me to go ahead and do it. And at this point, I'd already done most of the work. Just I got most out of the way, and so in just in the space of a week, the entire project was done. I submitted it, and they were all really happy with the work I did, and they were really nice about it, and and I'm definitely getting paid for it, so yay. And this is another thing to add to my portfolio, which I'm really pleased with. I now feel like I'm starting to get some substantial pieces of artwork to show off, so I can this will hopefully lead to bigger and better stuff. So I'm happy, but I thought I'd talk about this because this means that I'm now a part of this music project that Peter Dixon is embarking upon, and as I love his work so much, I just felt that I had to kind of do a little plug on his behalf,
this song, "The Great British Breakfast," is out now, and all you have to do is look it up on iTunes, or hopefully there'll be a CD edition in one of your local stores, if there are any still there. I don't know. Does HMV still exist? I don't know, but this is something I'd really like everyone to check out. It was a pleasure working for these guys, and it was a lot of fun. It's great to get paid to do what you love to do. Yeah. What else is new? I suppose the other thing I was let's see. Also, for those of you who may have been reading my comic strip and have got still no idea what I'm really getting at, I'll explain. I'll elaborate a bit more, because there's not much on my website. I'm really trying to add some more information to my website, belugatoons.com, by the way. I draw because I've always loved to draw, and I'm not exactly professional. I haven't been trained, but I find that it's something that keeps me occupied. It's something that my friends and family find impressive, and it's something that I would like to do to earn a living. And it's not really something you can step into that easily. I have to really start getting more commissions. I'm thinking of joining DeviantArt. I don't know. I might. I do have my reservations about that website. And so Belugatoons was an invention I just came up with because, and see, now I'm calling it Belugatoons. I'm just used to that. I mean, that's how it's spelt. It is kind of meant to be a joke on like Looney Tunes, and I think that's why most people I know use that term. But I digress. I just came up with it because I was thinking of having a go at doing some artwork, some animation, and kind of creating a fun little universe of different characters and concepts. And I really just started with a YouTube channel, and you can go to the Belugatoons on YouTube. That is just the channel name. You need to, Belugatoons. That's my tag basically, because it's a kind of a unique name that I can apply to whatever different projects I'm working on, and so it's by me. Then I just thought, I need to really keep the workload up, and the reason for the comic strip, Beluga Weekly, is that this way I could just have a reason for continually drawing different characters and coming up with random ideas, and that's really, I'm motivated because this is a weekly comic strip that I've just decided for I'm not doing this for money. I just thought this would be a way I can exercise my skills, and just have a reason to keep drawing, because I have had moments in life where I just can't be bothered. It's like I know I'm good at drawing. What more can I do? But they do say you have to keep drawing and you have to really exercise your skills. And so Beluga Weekly was really a great way of kind of having a reason to do that. And I kind of built up a little fan base. I mean, at the moment, it's mostly my friends and family who are following me. The comic strip can be found on Facebook, on Twitter. Again, you just need to type in the word Belugatoons. Maybe I should spell that BELUGATOONS. So beluga as in beluga whale or beluga caviar, and toons as in short for cartoons. It's not actually tunes, it's toons. But anyway, that's just how you spell it. And I mean, it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, or it's not the easiest word to remember, and I've actually thought about renaming it. But at the moment, as I say, it's unique, so therefore I can use it as my tag. Anyway, so thanks very much for listening. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. I never really know where I'm going with this sort of conversation. It's hard when you're trying to have a conversation with someone who's not actually in the room. I am just here in my comfy, if a little bit damp, flat, and there's no one here to talk to. I'm literally just speaking to a microphone. But you, my loyal fan, have obviously decided to take the trouble to, the time out of your daily routine to listen to this podcast, and I thank you. Who knows, I might turn this into a series. I don't really know what I'm going to do for content, but this is really just an update and an explanation for what I've been actually been playing at for the past 4 years. So, okay, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you later.
Wow, did I really sound like that? Yeah, let's see if we can look at some more art. I think it's just the video that's having problems. Okay, so in that recording I talked about the Great British Breakfast and the drawings that I did for that. Here are the original sketches for the artwork I did. So you've got a sausage, a fried egg, a coffee pot, a baked bean, a rasher of bacon, and a slice of toast. And they're all racing each other because it's the Olympics, and this is the colour version. This is what they asked me to do. They wanted me to create an image that included these 6 characters, and they wanted me to leave some space because they were going to put in a little picture, like a little caricature of Peter. So yeah, that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like, and I can show you. Here's the proof that it is actually on iTunes. Can I do something about the size there? Hang on. So yeah, you can see the caricature of Peter there, and we can get rid of this now because we don't need it. But yeah, I was really pleased with that. I think since then it's sort of been my dream to design an album cover for someone, just literally anyone who wants an album cover designed, as long as it's cartooning. That's the thing, like, as I keep saying, it's cartooning that I love. So yeah, so back to Esme now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rearrange everything now. Hang on. Let's just scale this down. Yeah, I knew this wasn't going to go completely smoothly. I think the set needs to be, the group needs to. That's okay. So this was when I had this idea of, and I think I actually did do this, redesign the Belugatoons website to look like a fridge door, and have like pictures stuck up on there. And I thought I could probably do variations of this for like my YouTube channel, because back then you could have like a really big picture to go behind, like go in the background on your YouTube channel, and also with Twitter you could do and then both of those have changed now, so you just sort of have the header space, which is fine, but I do miss being able to put something like this up on those. So yeah, I think this was actually for Twitter, because you can see the website is on that piece of paper up in the corner. So this was the one for Twitter. But yeah, there's this image, because when I originally drew this, my friend Esme was with me, because she wanted to create a bee character, and we decided that we would name it after her. So yeah, I actually drew this in Illustrator. This one looks a bit like, I tried to kind of make it look as though I'd scribbled it down like on a piece of paper and gone over it in a biro, but that's actually completely digital. I don't know if that shows, but so yeah, originally it was a very smooth, slick image that I just drew in Illustrator, because I've always talked about how with that program. You can't go wrong with the lines. So yeah, and that was really cool because I created a character while someone was in the room, and I don't know if I've ever done that since. There's a colour version. She looks like she's wearing a bib, because I think Esme said she wanted this character to like have a collar, but I wasn't really sure what sort of collar a bee would wear. So yeah, it is more like a flap, because I thought I need the name to be nice and clear. And I couldn't be bothered to draw a background, so I nicked that background off Google Images. And here's a little comic strip. Now this isn't, as you can see, it's not Beluga Weekly. This is Cartoon Corner. Yeah, and this was the thing that I was hoping I would do as like for each season. This is the spring edition, because there was this magazine that they brought out their issues every season, and I got involved with it because it was just like a local thing, and they took an interest in my work. They did publish this one, but that was as many as they got. They didn't really stay in touch with me, and so yeah, I kind of had a few more ideas that never happened. But I think this is quite cute. She talks to a flower, and she's like, you know something, I like you. You're so much more polite than that other flower I used to talk to. And then we see her trying to have a conversation with a Venus flytrap that's not going so well. So yeah, that was going to be a thing. Sadly, it didn't go any further than that. But I kept drawing pictures of Esme. She turned up in like Beluga Weekly and New Stuff, the comic book series. There are a lot of things to show you in this gallery. I thought what I might do is, because I don't have this loaded up, but it's all on my website. So because we're mostly talking about things from about 2013, and according to my website, in February I was taking part in this thing called Illustration Friday, and there's a website for this. I think it's still, let's see if it's still there. Let's give it a moment. How's the stream? Is everything coming through fine? So yeah, they still exist. That's good. And so basically, yeah, as you can see there, every week, every Friday, there's a new topic. So this week's topic is which. So yeah, it's like a prompt. If you don't know what to draw, just go to illustrationfriday.com. So I found this I found this very useful. This was one of the first drawings that I did, because the topic was wheel. So I kind of thought about the Stone Age, and yeah, not historically accurate. I think that would have been after the dinosaurs. Storm, that's quite a cute one. This one actually got into doing like pictures where I just sort of scribble in the colours, and I actually really liked doing that. I think it works for this because this umbrella is supposed to look wet. You do get this impression that the rain is having an effect on these surfaces. So I mean that's not too bad. Because I was also a lot of these. I was really only just learning how to work with my tablet in Photoshop, because I was so used to using Illustrator. That just always seemed to be the best one for outlines. It was this one. Let's have a look. I think yeah that is definitely, you can tell from all the bumpy lines that this was done in Photoshop. Because even when you use a tablet, it can be a little bit hard. Like, because if the computer can't keep up, if you're not using the best machine, then you tend to get very bumpy lines. So a lot of these, I like this one. For some reason, the word yesterday made me think of yesterday's rubbish. So that's all about. So I suppose, yeah, you get the idea with that. Okay, So the camera, mirror, gallery, birthday cake. Shall I show you? Because I did a speed draw video. This is just like an incidental thing. I'm wondering maybe I'll save that until the end. See, I really I never fully worked out what the structure of this live stream was going to be. I think I've mostly just got artwork to show you now. So yeah, should we get on to Cow's Play? So for those of you who don't know, Cow's Play is there is a link to it on my website. When you click here, you can see all of them, all the ones that I've posted. It's taking a little while to load. So yeah, it's so sorry, the link was here, Cow's Play, and you'll see all of these. Yeah. Okay, so let's just use the gallery to go through these. This is Tracy and Macy dressed as Raven and Starfire from Teen Titans. This is just the regular image. I think that was the one that went on most websites. I also did this for my website. This is an animated one, so you can see there's a bit of a glow effect. Rick and Morty, Patty and Selma, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the Disney villains, Maleficent and Ursula, Alien, Death Note, Shaun of the Dead, Darkwing Duck, Team Rocket, the Mads from Mystery Science Theatre, Inside Out, Disney Princesses, Dirty Pair, Gravity Falls, Jay and Silent Bob, Alice in Wonderland. Had to think about that one. Did do such a good job. Thunderbirds, Super Mario Brothers, My Little Pony, Monty Python, Batman, I suppose, DC Comics, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, Acrobats, Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we're back to that one. So yeah, that gives you an idea of, because I came up with Cow's Play in 2014, so I just like the idea of, I thought, what if one of my characters was into cosplay, and I could have fun showing this character pretending to be all these different other characters, and I thought that'd be a good way, because people kind of recognise these things. It's easier to know what the reference is, and yeah, it was a good way of sort of attracting more people to my work, because I don't do a lot of fan art. I should probably do a bit more fan art so that I'm actually getting some attention. Yeah, but this was a lot of fun, and I haven't really done a lot of this, because this year I started to do things a bit differently. So if I do carry on with Cow's Play, I might have to first of all come up with a new template, because for continuity reasons, I sort of came up with a template of those two characters, and yeah, I kind of came up with this idea because Tracy and Macy are characters who turned up in Beluga Weekly a long time ago, and since then I've sort of had this idea of them being very geeky characters, and they both really like sci-fi and fantasy and comics and all of that. So yeah, that was an interesting direction, because it didn't come up much in the webcomic, but yeah, I mean, as I said, this is something that I just sort of came up with a few years ago. And there's also this, so this would have been the following year. This was 2016, Blue Monday, because I'd been posting a lot of stupid videos and things on my Facebook, and I thought, I don't know if like my friends are really going to be that interested in seeing these things. Maybe from here on I'll just post my artwork, because that's the kind of thing that defines me. And it's a sort of I figured it'd be the most worthwhile. So I thought, because I just happened to be drawing a lot of sketches in blue pencil, so I thought every Monday I'll post one of these, and it could be called Blue Monday. So here we are. That's one of the designs I came up with for the Belugatoons anniversary cake. That would have been year 8. There's a little 8 up there. The blue meanies from Yellow Submarine. One thing I found out, I think it was only when I was drawing this picture, because I used a reference image, and I never actually noticed how many fingers these guys have. Let's see, there's like 2, 4, 6 fingers on each hand. And that was a detail that I'd never spotted previously. But I thought, blue meanies, Blue Monday, that kind of works. This is Hilda. This is a character that I first came up with her like in the early days of Belugatoons. Like she didn't appear in the webcomic or anything, because I'd always had a difficult time working out, like, first of all, who she's based on. Most of my characters are kind of inspired by characters from movies and things like that. And I think most recently I had this idea that she could probably work at a fish and chip shop, because cats like fish. And I kind of figured she'd be like a British version of Dante from Clerks. I kind of saw her being like a slightly irritable shopkeeper person. This was just like a page of expressions that I did. I should do this more often, because I'm still, you can probably tell from just looking at this, still struggle with expressions like the angles. That one in the corner where she's looking downward, I feel like I could have made her eyes even further, put them even further down to make it look like she's going right down there, because eyes aren't that visible. I find it really hard to reshape eyes. I always feel like they have to be the same way in each picture. That's one of my biggest problems, I think. This is Brenda. She's meant to be a guitarist, apparently. You see, I actually drew like a little guitar pick there with her name on it. These are really just little sketches. This guy is called Brody. He's like a little robotic spider thing. I kind of like the idea, because again, there's this other character, and she's like, I could never really settle on a design or even a name of this character, but I knew that I wanted her to be an inventor, and she made this like living thing, and I suppose it's quite a big deal, because if you can make your own companion, it is almost like breathing life into machines. So I thought that could have a lot of potential there. Another idea that I've not worked on very much at all. It's kind of weird. I think I might need to get a glass of water soon. After I've been through these, I might take a break. Dragon Fairies. I did do a comic of Dragon Fairies. This character didn't really appear in any of the stuff that I came up with. Bit of a pity. This is actually better than a lot of the drawing, the artwork that I did in the actual comic. I got very lazy with it. I don't know if I'm bringing it back. If I do, I'm probably going to hit the reset button. And I mean, all of these drawings have very obvious flaws. I do know that. But these are just doodles. And a lot of these are ideas that I've not really worked on, since I drew that. This is Felicity and the Flea, because I just thought that sounds like a great title. That could be its own comic. and it's like a Tom and Jerry kind of thing. You know, the image kind of tells you all you need to know. And yeah, I've not done anything with these characters. I don't know why. There's so much stuff. I've got a section coming up that's like all the unseen artwork, because all of this has been published. I've just not really talked about it much. This was a little experiment I did with shapes. Like I drew a square and just took a bit of time to think, what can I make out of this square? And it turned into a frog. I thought that was quite a fun thing to do. I think because I learnt as a kid how to make those origami greeting card things, that when you open them up it's like a mouth that's opening and closing, and I've kind of gone with that. The interesting thing is that almost looks like an open mouth. If I put a tongue poking out through here, you can't see where my mouse is, but I'm yeah, it doesn't really matter. There's a square frog, or rhombus shaped frog. It's Judy Hopps from Zootopia. It's called Zootropolis over here, for those of you who don't know. I don't know why. Is it because there was a zoo or something? I don't know. The mouse, just a generic mouse. Haven't got anything to say about this guy. I just like drawing mice. Oh, now this is one that this is completely unforgivable. I don't know how to draw helmets, or like characters putting on helmets or taking them off. I don't even know what he's trying to do. But like, let's say he's putting on a space helmet, and as you can see, I've just tried to overcompensate, because with his ears poking out like that, I thought, right, so the helmet's going to have to be really wide, and that just looks really weird. And the way he's holding it, it's not natural. He's not like, if you're putting it on, you might just lower your head a bit, and it just sort of goes over maybe cover the face a bit, because I thought that the head's got to be there. You know, I've drawn the head, and now I just need to add stuff to the picture. I don't know. That's my logic. It's Mr. Meeseeks. So yeah, Rick and Morty art. There's a bit more of that coming up. The mushroom for Super Mario Brothers. Peach, and for some reason I drew her as a toaster as well. I quite like these rabbit drawings. This was because the year before I'd drawn a lot of pictures of this character called Claire, and I think I drew a picture of her every day that year, and after that, again, you never heard from her. I just didn't do anything else. But I really like some of these, like that one of her looking sad. That works quite nicely, I think, because I sort of allowed myself to go for big. I was like, think big. The Grinch, and that takes us back to the beginning. So yeah, that was the last one, the picture of the Grinch, because it was Christmas time. I thought I'm going to have to do something Christmas related. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go and get a glass of water. It won't be too long. Be right back. You know what? Let's talk about test cards, because I just had one up right now. So this was the old test card that I came up with, because you know BBC test card. That's quite a famous image, and I thought I should do a parody of that. And this version is that little squirrel. I think she was meant to be like, because one of my characters is a squirrel called Petra, and she's meant to be like a chef. I don't know if this character is meant to be like her daughter. Once again, I don't really know. It's all a bit. Some of my ideas, they kind of didn't go one way or the other. So this is either Petra as a child, or it's her daughter. I don't know. I haven't thought that much about the lore of these characters. So yeah, and this is based on like a 4x3 test card, because way back in the day, this is sort of the design that the test card looked like. There's me. That is actually me, because that's a very old television set that actually fits that resolution. I look funny with glasses and no beard, and my hair sticking up like that. It's a different look, isn't it? How times have changed. So I did a couple of things here. Obviously the character's different. This is Stephanie the alligator, and yeah, I just sort of switch the characters there. And as you can see, there's a QR code that I subtly added, and I'm pretty sure that QR code literally just takes you to the Belugatoons website, because I never thought maybe it's enough to just have the website, the web address right there. And that brings us to the latest one. This is the one you just saw. So yeah, that's the one that I'm using on all the live streams, because I have found that there is a new test card for HD TV, and that's where all the shapes and patterns that you see here, that's pretty much exactly what the new designs look like. What have we here? Oh, this is Beryl dressed as Barbarella. Okay, so this would have been when was the? I'm gonna go on my website a second and just try to look things up. So I think this was about 2013 or something. September something. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it, and the display capture isn't up anyway, so I'm not going to bother with that. So Geek Week. So YouTube hosted this event, and it was like a Monday to Friday, I think, or no. Did it start on like a Saturday or Sunday? Whatever. This was the first day, so I sort of did an illustration for each one, because the first day was like blockbuster movie themed. So yeah, so I thought, okay, Beryl dressed as Barbarella, that works, I suppose. And now we have Max in a Devo style costume, and I'm slowing down again. Shall I just hang on? It's lagging a bit. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, there's something about, because there doesn't seem to be much of a problem. I think I know what to do. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll be back very shortly. Yeah, I think it's because some of those images are way too big, so I just had to shrink them down a bit. Yeah, so we have Max in a Devo style costume, and I don't know exactly why I chose that, but I think this was like global geekery. That was the theme of that day, something like that. And this is Chelsea from that cartoon that I showed earlier, dressed as a beaker, or yeah, a flask. Yeah, because that was like I don't know, Science Day, something like that. That was what I could come up with. And I think this one was like a superhero themed one. So I had Max in the Fantastic Four outfit with an extended arm. That was quite fun. And this was a gaming one. This is Becky. She didn't make it into any of the animated stuff, but she was in a lot of the comics, and dressed as Samus from Metroid, which is a game that I'm actually really not that familiar with. It's funny how a lot of these references that I put into for stuff that I know is popular, but I've not really experienced it myself. And now a Doctor Who one. I can't remember what that one, what the theme was that inspired me to do Doctor Who, but this was an interesting little. Sorry about the noise out there. Yeah, it was quite interesting putting this design together, because obviously I looked up a picture of the TARDIS, and I spent a long time in Illustrator, sort of putting together all these lines. It looks a bit ugly, to be honest, because most of the lines are exactly the same thickness, and that's problematic when. Whoa. This is what you've got to love live streams. You just never know what's going to happen. Someone's riding their motorbike outside my door, which is great. Anyway, so that was my attempt at drawing the TARDIS in Illustrator. Can you hear that? Can you actually hear the noise out there? Oh. And now I'm just hoping that the rest of the art in this gallery is. Please be quiet. It's like they know that I'm doing a live stream, so let's just try and make the most off-putting sound imaginable right outside the flat. Alright, here we go. Let's move on to Christmas stuff. That'll make me feel better. This is once again, I might have to. So I just want to make sure that it doesn't mess with the. Whoa. Yeah, I think it's just going to snap to the same size. This is a T-shirt, as you can see. This is when I first learned how to create stuff for TeePublic, because that's a great website. Anyone can use it. You can just design shirts and people can buy them. And so I thought each year I'd come up with like a Christmas jumper type design. And I have been doing that. This was the first one I did several years back. And you can't. You can get this on T-shirts and also all sorts of other things like jumpers and hoodies and all kinds of things. And this was a wrapping paper design that I came up with, and I actually remember that was Christmas 2015. I'm pretty sure that's right. I not only designed this. I think I used Spoonflower. That's another one of these websites. I use a lot of these, where you just upload your design and then you can order it as, like in this case, a roll of wrapping paper. So this was like a repeated pattern that was printed onto a roll of wrapping paper, and I used it to wrap up the presents that year for my family, and they really enjoyed it because they know all about Belugatoons. They know who most of these characters are. Oh yeah, that's a little graphic that I did. Now I didn't put the word Belugatoons on the actual tag that I put on the boxes, because the boxes looked almost exactly like that. This is like a digital representation of what the gift boxes I designed look like. And so the only difference really is the tag. I left that blank so I could actually write a little message on each one. And this, because I believe this would have been. We can't ignore this, can we? We have to say something. That was inches from my door. I could hear them. Yeah. I don't know what they're trying to achieve out there on that motorbike. So they came in and then they've gone that way and then back over there. Just going back and forth. Wasting as much fuel as possible. Beryl as Tinkerbell. Yeah, because this was an idea I had to do like a pantomime. So all of the characters I've created for this Christmas, I do, because it was like an advent calendar. So for the first 25 days of December, each day I reveal a new image of one of my characters playing the part of a character from a fairy tale. So yeah, like Tinkerbell from Peter Pan, Puss in Boots, Cinderella, that's the genie from Aladdin, and as you can see, because it is meant to be like an amateur production, so that you can see there's a bit of tape that's holding the part of the costume. And this is and I'm lagging again. Maybe just ignore that. each year I like to design a Christmas tree, and the idea is that it goes up on my website and various other places. Like you'll see it on the live streams in the background. I'm going to do the same this year. I think I've got the design that I want to use. What's he doing out there? Yeah, and this again, this is an advent calendar idea. Yes, go that way. That's where you want to go. This, this is one example of the like an animated door that would open, so that I would do a little GIF file that I would upload to my website each day to count down to Christmas, and it would reveal one of my characters behind it each day, in a very festive mood. So yeah, I thought that was quite nice. That's actually really old now. I'm actually not going through all of these in order. I thought it was going to be too hard to arrange everything in the way it's supposed to be, and I don't know. Chances are I'm going to forget to talk about something. That's how these always. That's how these things go. We switched off the engine. That's one thing. Okay, and I haven't got around to talking about Beluga Weekly yet. Let me just once again I've got to fit to screen. Come on. Okay, I've messed it up. I completely messed it up. You can still see it, I suppose. Okay. So the first issue of Beluga Weekly, and again, this was before I had my tablet, so bumpy lines and all that. Yeah, but one thing I've done with all of these pages, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have any lagging in this one, because I made sure that most of these are the right size for this stream. And the joke here is that at the time Woolworths had closed down, and they say wait till the folks at Zavvi hear about this, because Zavvi was just about to close down as well. I wanted all of my comics to be topical, and that proved to be very hard. At some point I dropped that idea, but yeah, because this one I published this on the 1st of January 2009, so it was a new year, and so that's what the characters are talking about on the first part, and so a year later I did this one that says happy birthday to us, and happy new year and all that down at the bottom. By the way, these are all done in Comic Life, which in hindsight probably isn't the best software to make a webcomic in. It is more of a gimmick, but yeah, so this was the first Beluga Weekly of 2010, and I decided to put together all the characters that I created, because it was almost like a look back at the previous year. So yeah, and I think this was my first time using the tablet. I just recently, because I think I got my tablet for Christmas, so this was one of the earliest examples of me doing artwork with a tablet. Oh, brilliant. There it is again. So I just, it wouldn't be the same without a bit of a. Yeah, you're being spoilt today. You got. This is not a technical fault. I can hear this too. Never a dull moment around here. think that guy just likes wasting fuel. This is so hard. It's so hard to talk now. Is he trying to prove a point? You know what? Because there's been so much noise right now, I'm going to show you this because this should be a bit more soothing. This is me designing the Belugatoons birthday cake for year 10. Right, here we go. Okay, let's get back to where we were. It was this one, wasn't it? Beluga Weekly number 102. So this was the 2009, 2010. This will be 2011. And the reason why I was quite pleased with this one is this was one of my rare attempts at using minimal dialogue, because this character Tim, he only talks in the last panel, and so I'm glad that I managed to have a go at doing a comic that wasn't all about characters talking constantly. I suppose the last one you just saw didn't technically have any talking in it, but it wasn't really a comic. That was really just a picture to illustrate the year. So yeah, this does kind of tell a quick story, and I like how I did the thought balloon with. It sort of shows you that he's having trouble with internet connectivity. This one. Now this was unmistakably 2012, because down the side there it says we're not going to the Olympics, because that was the year that the Olympics came to the UK. And yeah, I didn't go. My parents did though. That's another story. There isn't really a joke to this one. It's really just Beryl and Stan watching DVDs. I thought I could do a number, like, because it says up there Beryl and Stan's DVD night episode 1, and I did do a few of these. They were never really that good. This was 2013. So this is number 206. This is basically Max and Caroline talking about Bob Dylan and Jimi Hendrix. I think I was starting to put together this idea that Max worked for like a music magazine, and Caroline was one of his work colleagues, and she's the one who actually knows more about music. I think that was the idea, because I'd sort of designed Caroline, and I think she turned up a few times in previous issues, but I didn't really know exactly what her job was going to be, so this was sort of the first attempt at that. And now 2014, so I started the year with an advert for new stuff there at the bottom. The brand new Belugatoons webcomic, now available at magcloud.com. I think the joke in this one is a bit obscure, because it's sort of about Clue and the fact that Tim Curry is in that film, as well as it. There's a little Pennywise reference, a little pastiche. Doesn't really work. This is the first one I did for 2015, and I decided that red was going to be the colour. Every Beluga Weekly comic in 2015 had that red header, and I even had like a little story going on with Eugene, because he always appears in the header doing something different. And yeah, at the end of that story arc, the header in this one, the 2016 header's now green, and you can see Eugene up there wiping paint off his face, because he's the idea is that he painted that background a new colour, because for the whole of 2015 it was red, and so at the end he paints it green, and then in this one we have the first green Beluga Weekly, and that's what's going on in this one is a parody of Plan 9 from Outer Space, because the whole thing was going to be sort of like old horror movie influenced, something sort of like that. Now this is issue number 414, the first one of 2017, and I never got to the end of this arc, and you sort of see at this point I was getting really lazy. You can see that I've used the same head of this character for each of those panels, And I think I got to about October or something, and then just gave up. At that point, I was like, I'm just going to see what happens when I stopped doing Beluga Weekly comics, and nothing did happen. So there you go. It's fine. I can do other things. So yeah, that's that. And I think all that's left now really is to show you some of the unseen, and that's going to be a problem, isn't it? Let me move this over. So the Comic Book Club, I've brought that up several times on my podcast. I'm just going to turn off the video. It's going to be a bit off-putting. And with the Comic Book Club, there would always be a title for each one that was held. So this time round, they came up with the title "I'm so sorry, honey," and this is kind of the image that popped into my head, and I drew that for the there's like a little illustration for the event. The reason it says Goblet Press down there is because we met at this bar called Goblets. It's not there anymore, but that was our meeting place. Beryl and Stan as robots. This is actually I realised that I had a lot of songs on my laptop about robots, so I put together a playlist and I came up with some artwork. I thought I sort of went through this phase where I like to do illustrations for the playlists that I saved on my iTunes. So that was some cover art for the robot theme playlist. Oh dear. So I'm just trying to fit it into place. Getting a bit picky. Speaking of cover art, this is like a little mock-up that I did, and I really did a bad job because I didn't shade, and I didn't do my own shading here. I tried to get Photoshop to sort of take care of shading using the Bevel and Boss thing, and that didn't really work. But basically, the Party Animals is like a fictional band that I came up with, and another sort of thing that I've sort of added to the list and not really known exactly where to go with it. But here's the thing: it's great to come up with something like a band. Like if you're into music, and you're also into cartooning, come up with a band. Do like a cartoon band. Because it's a great way of working on identity and sort of character bios, because you find yourself really thinking about each individual character and what their backgrounds are and everything, and that's a good kind of experiment to try. And this is Dirtface, and they're basically like another band who sort of collaborate with the Party Animals. I think at first I thought they could be like rivals, but that just seemed like a bit too obvious and a bit of a boring idea. So I thought that this is something that could be very, could be expanded and worked on in various different ways. Because I now sort of have this whole universe where these bands exist, or something like that. Again, it's just a good way of developing characters and actually giving them personalities and working out what they're all about. This is another drawing I did for an iTunes playlist that I had. It was rainy day songs, something like that. Because sometimes I always feel like rainy days are the perfect excuse to just have some me time. But I have a playlist of the music I like to listen to when it rains. I don't know why. It's just that. So this is another drawing I did of Hilda. This is a colour drawing. You can see now. I think I used her mostly for stuff that I had no intention of putting online. So you're seeing it now. For Beeblebrox from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't think... I'm pretty sure I didn't put this on Instagram or anything. I know that I put it on my Facebook, like my personal Facebook, so my friends have seen it. But it's not on the Belugatoons Facebook page. So this is taken from the TV show. I looked up some pictures on Google Images. I was a bit lazy with the pattern for the jacket, because I don't know... every single pattern is on the actual coat, and doesn't matter. And it's Brody again. I showed you the little sketch that I did of him, and this is my attempt at drawing him in Illustrator. And I'm quite happy with this design. Just looking at it, this is one of those images that, I mean, it's funny. I obviously I drew it, but looking at it now, I find myself getting more and more ideas. It's that type of drawing. It's funny, you'll do these drawings sometimes that to sort of continue to inspire you. There's just something about that kind of. I don't know what the name of this character is. I can't remember if I even gave her a name. And she's meant to be a chameleon, because I think one of the cartoons that I never ended up animating was going to be of two chameleon sisters, and I think I made this picture sort of as a rough idea of what I wanted to do for a comic book, because I thought maybe I could do a Belugatoons monthly comic. And that kind of turned into New Stuff, although New Stuff wasn't really, it wasn't quite the same as the original idea for a comic I had. So she's meant to be blowing some bubble gum, like a really huge bubble. I don't know if I actually made that work very well. I thought I might have to explain that. Oh yeah, and here's the other cartoon corner. I did one for summertime. So this one never got published, and I thought it was quite funny, but it wasn't so much that I didn't really know who to send it to, because the person that I'd been in touch with previously wasn't available. So yeah, it never they never saw it, basically. They never got to see it, and that's where it ended. No, there was no more Cartoon Corner after that. So yeah, that's it. That's everything. Okay. I'm just going to go back to the camera. Yeah. So I started this channel in November 2008. 10 whole years, and it's not going to end here. This is not. I'm not building up to an announcement like it's finished. I'm still going to put all of this rubbish up on the internet. But I think because I definitely want to use this channel mostly for like showing people the process of what I'm doing, because that's all I really want to do. I don't want to animate. I don't want to kind of do anything other than just drawing stuff and experimenting. And yeah, I've just found that doing live streams and things like this means that I can just do what I like doing, and it just all goes up on the channel. So that just seems to make the most sense to me. And I would like to take this opportunity to just say thank you so much to everybody who supported me. A lot of people have said wonderful things about my work, and it's really encouraged me. It's made me feel special. And I'm just so thankful that people have contributed to all of this, because I wouldn't really know exactly how to define Belugatoons and say exactly what it is, because the original plan was for it to be like, I wanted it to be my Aardman animation, or my Disney animation studios, like my equivalent of those. And obviously that hasn't happened, but things have taken quite an interesting turn, and I'm really happy with all the things I'm doing, like especially the stuff that I've done recently. It may not be as kind of eye-popping as the animated stuff that you saw at the beginning of this stream, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm learning. I'm working out things that I'm just doing things that I never imagined I would be doing. So I'm happy. So thank you all so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this live stream. And I'm just going to say now, take care. And here's to another, hopefully, 10 years. Like, I messed that up because we've reached 10 years. Here's to another 10 years. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to continue this, but I'm going to take a break. That's one thing I mustn't forget. Usually I do a live stream on Sunday afternoons. I think I'm going to take a bit of a break. This weekend I don't think I'm going to be doing any streaming. What I've just done has been a bit of a shortened version of what I was originally hoping, because I thought this was going to be like a walkthrough of all 10 years. But obviously certain things have not quite gone as they should, but even bearing that in mind, I think this weekend I won't be doing a stream. I might be doing a video game live stream the following week, because I haven't done one of those for a while, and it would be nice to just have a bit of leisure time. So yeah, join me for that. If that is precisely what I'm going to be doing. But right now I'm going to go and take a rest because I'm tired. Thanks everybody. Do take care, and I'll see you later.